June 2025. The city that never sleeps is wide awake and the air is thick with anticipation. New York, a city of 8 million stories, is about to add a new chapter, one that no one saw coming. New York City is buzzing, not just from the heat, but from a political showdown that's electrifying every borough. The sidewalks are packed, the subways are humming, and everywhere you turn people are talking about one thing: the mayoral primary. The Democratic primary for mayor is on, and the stakes have never felt higher. Voters line up at dawn, determined to make their voices heard in what's shaping up to be a historic election. On one side, Andrew Cuomo, the comeback king, establishment's favorite, and a name synonymous with New York politics. He's got the experience, the connections, and the backing of the city's old guard. On the other, Zohran Mamdani, a 33-year-old Ugandan-born, Indian heritage, Muslim Democratic Socialist rapper from Queens. He's a housing counselor, a community organizer, and a voice for the city's working class. To many, he's the ultimate outsider. It sounds like a punchline, but the results are no joke. The city holds its breath as the numbers roll in. Mamdani doesn't just win, he crushes Cuomo in a landslide that sends shockwaves through the city's political establishment. Cheers erupt in Queens and disbelief ripples through Manhattan's power corridors. Newsrooms are in chaos, pundits are stunned, scrambling to explain how the unthinkable just became reality. The old playbook is out the window. How did a housing counselor topple a political giant? It's David versus Goliath. But this time, David's got TikTok, Instagram, and a city hungry for change behind him. Social media, grassroots organizing, and a message that resonates with the young and the working class. Mamdani's campaign rewrote the rules. This isn't just a win, it's a revolution. The streets are alive with celebration, and hope is in the air. Mamdani's victory speech? Not in a ballroom, but on a Queen Street corner, surrounded by nurses, taxi drivers, teachers, and bodega owners, the very people he promised to fight for. His words echo through the night. This city belongs to all of us. He promises a New York for the many, not the few. A city where your zip code doesn't decide your future, and where every child, no matter their background, has a shot at a better life. The establishment is on notice. The landlord is a socialist from Queens, and he's here to shake things up. Renters, workers, and families see hope in his victory. The shockwaves hit DC overnight. A Democratic socialist is about to run America's biggest city, and the nation's capital is watching closely, wondering what this means for the future of the country. This is more than a local race, it's a generational, ideological earthquake. The old guard looks on in disbelief as a new coalition rises. The progressive wing isn't knocking, they've kicked the door down, demanding a seat at the table and a new vision for the city. Overnight, Mamdani becomes the face of a new, younger, more diverse, and unapologetically left America. His supporters see themselves in him, and his victory inspires movements far beyond New York. The old guard never saw it coming. Their era is ending, and a new chapter is just beginning. This is how it happened, the story of how a city changed overnight, and maybe, just maybe, how America will too. Who is Zoran Mamdani? What shapes a person into a force for change in one of the world's most complex cities? His story begins far from the skyscrapers of Manhattan in Kampala, Uganda, a city alive with energy, history, and contradictions. He wasn't born into a political dynasty, but rather at a global crossroads, where cultures and ideas constantly collide. His parents, an academic father, a filmmaker mother, filled his childhood with big ideas and even bigger stories. Dinner table conversations ranged from philosophy to politics, from art to activism, planting seeds of curiosity and compassion. At just 7 years old, Zoran moved to New York City. Suddenly, he was a third-culture kid, learning to navigate the vibrant, sometimes chaotic streets of the Bronx and Queens. Every day was a lesson in adaptation and discovery. He lived the city's diversity and its inequalities firsthand, realizing how a single subway ride could transport you between worlds. One stop, and everything changes. Languages, faces, opportunities. Fluent in English, Hindi, and Urdu, he found himself at home everywhere, from chatting with Jackson Heights aunties over chai, to debating ideas with Columbia professors. Language became his passport, breaking barriers and building bridges. For Zoran, identity isn't a campaign prop or a slogan, it's a living, breathing bridge that connects him to the people he serves. Before politics, he was Mr. Cardamom, a rapper in the city's underground hip-hop scene. On stage, he found another way to tell stories, to challenge injustice, and to celebrate the city's pulse. His music was never just about beats and rhymes, it was about identity, justice, and the search for belonging in a city that can be both welcoming and unforgiving. Whether on stage or at a rally, he's always used his voice to connect, to challenge, and to inspire those around him to imagine something better. This isn't a politician who learned empathy in a focus group. For Zoran, empathy is lived experience, earned through years of listening, learning, and standing shoulder to shoulder with his neighbors. His multicultural roots don't just inform his politics, they shape them. They make his vision real, relatable, and at times, radical in its inclusivity. He's not just talking about diversity, he embodies it. In every room, on every street, he reflects the city's mosaic. From Kampala to Queens, from rapper to revolutionary, Zohran's journey is proof that power can start anywhere, and that the most unlikely paths can lead to the heart of change. He's not just a New Yorker, he's every New Yorker. That's his superpower, the ability to see himself in others and others in himself. And that's why people listen, because his story is, in so many ways, the story of New York itself. Before Cuomo, Mamdani had to prove he could win. He wasn't a household name, and the odds were stacked against him. But he believed in the power of ordinary people coming together for change. In 2020, he ran for state assembly in Astoria, Queens, taking on a powerful incumbent who had deep roots and big connections. Many doubted he could pull it off, but Mamdani saw an opportunity to build something new. There were no big donors, no corporate PACs, just a grassroots army. Volunteers knocked on thousands of doors, made hundreds of thousands of calls, and connected with neighbors one conversation at a time. Every evening, the campaign office buzzed with energy and hope. Roti and roses. Bread for people's needs, roses for their dreams. It was more than a slogan, it was a promise to fight for dignity and justice, both material and spiritual. His campaign office became a true community hub, hosting food drives for families in need, tenant meetings for those facing eviction, and culture nights that brought neighbors together. It was a space where everyone belonged. Against all expectations, he won, shocking the political establishment. The victory sent ripples through the city, showing that people-powered campaigns could topple even the most entrenched politicians. For the mayoral race, he scaled up. The campaign moved into church basements, mosque halls, and union headquarters, meeting people where they gathered, listening to their stories, and building trust. Multilingual outreach became a cornerstone, flyers in Bengali, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, and more. Every community was included, every voice valued. Social media wasn't just for ads, it was a tool for organizing. Viral TikToks, live-streamed town halls, and behind-the-scenes videos brought new supporters into the fold and kept the movement energized. Small dollar donations powered everything. No corporate money, no strings attached, every dollar came from someone who believed in the cause, making the campaign truly accountable to the people. He spoke boldly and honestly, because he owed nothing to the rich or powerful. His only debt was to the people who put their faith in him. The bond with supporters was real, built on shared struggle and hope. They knew he was fighting for them, not for special interests. This wasn't just about winning votes, it was about building lasting power. Every meeting, every brainstorm was a step toward a more just city. Mamdani's campaign proved something vital. People, not money, win elections. The city took notice, and the movement grew stronger. The establishment felt the ground shift beneath their feet. The revolution was real, and it was impossible to ignore. And for Mamdani and his supporters, this was just the beginning. The grassroots revolution was only getting started and its energy was unstoppable. What does Mamdani want for New York? Radical change. Housing, universal rent control, decommodified housing, homes as a human right, not a profit machine. Massive investment in public and social housing, city-owned and people-run, transit-free subways and buses, no fares, no barriers, funded by taxing the super-rich and big corporations. It's about making the city work for everyone, not just the wealthy. Public options for groceries and childcare, affordable, accessible, city-run. Universal, high-quality, free childcare for every family. These aren't pipe dreams. They're plans to cut costs and lift up millions. The principle, people over profit. Homelessness, poverty, inequality, these aren't accidents, they're political choices. Mamdani's platform is a direct challenge to the status quo. A city where everyone has a home, a way to get to work, and support to raise a family. It's a vision millions are rallying behind. The old way isn't working. Mamdani's New York is possible. The Mamdani versus. Cuomo battle was more than a primary, it was old versus new. Cuomo establishment, corporate cash, backroom deals, Mamdani movement politics, powered by people, not donors. He didn't just attack Cuomo's policies, he called out the whole system. Cuomo ran slick ads, played the fear card, called Mamdani a radical. Mamdani leaned in. If wanting to house the homeless is radical, so be it. He turned every attack into a rallying cry for the people. The choice was clear, power for the few, or power for the many. In a city tired of being ignored, Mamdani's message hit home. The establishment was loud, but Mamdani was louder and smarter. He didn't just survive the attacks, he thrived on them. The people chose the future. The dinosaur roared, but the city moved on, and the movement won. The moment Mamdani won, the right-wing machine went into overdrive. Trump raged, radical socialist, third world hellhole, the usual. Fox News ran wall-to-wall fear-mongering, old rap lyrics, out-of-context quotes, Islamophobia. The goal scare voters, energize the base, make Mamdani the new boogeyman. But Mamdani didn't flinch. He hit back. If Trump's attacking me, I'm doing something right. He wore the attacks as a badge of honor, using them to rally supporters. Every Trump tweet became a fundraising boost. He turned the biggest bully into his best recruiter. He didn't apologize for who he was, he owned it. The old rules didn't apply. Mamdani thrived in the chaos. The attacks only made him stronger. The future wasn't afraid. He proves you